Echoes of the unknown. The night sky over New Mexico erupted in a dazzling light show, as if the stars themselves were dancing. Dr. Elena Reyes, lead astronomer at the Sunspot Solar Observatory, nearly spilled her coffee as she jolted upright in her chair. Her eyes, bloodshot from hours of staring at computer screens, widened in disbelief. "This can't be right," she muttered, fingers flying across her keyboard. The observatory's advanced radio telescopes were picking up signals unlike anything she'd ever seen. Patterns too complex, too ordered to be natural phenomena. Her heart raced as she realized the implications. Thousands of miles away, in a bustling control room in Beijing, Dr. Li Wei's team was experiencing the same phenomenon. Frantic calls were exchanged between observatories around the globe. Within hours, social media was ablaze with amateur footage of the lights, conspiracy theories running wild. As dawn broke over the United Nations headquarters in New York, an emergency session was called. World leaders, still bleary-eyed and jet-lagged, gathered to address what could no longer be denied. Humanity was not alone in the universe. Dr. Reyes found herself thrust into the spotlight, testifying before a panel of grim-faced politicians and military brass. "The signals suggest a level of technology far beyond our own," she explained, her voice steady despite her nerves. "But they're not aimed at us. It's more like we're overhearing a conversation." Admiral Chen of the Chinese Space Force leaned forward. "A conversation between whom, Doctor?" Before Elena could respond, a young aide burst into the room, face pale. "Sir, Madame Secretary," he stammered, "you need to see this." The chamber's massive screens flickered to life, showing live feeds from around the world. Massive, shimmering objects were descending through the atmosphere, not the saucer-shaped craft of science fiction, but enormous, crystalline structures that seemed to bend light around them. Panic gripped major cities, highways clogged with fleeing civilians. Military jets scrambled, only to find their systems going haywire as they approached the alien vessels. But the expected attack never came. Instead, a message, broadcast simultaneously on every frequency in every language. "People of Earth, we come in peace and observation. Your world intrigues us. We request dialogue." The voice was melodic, almost hypnotic. As linguists would later discover, the aliens, who called themselves the Luminary, communicated not just through words, but through subtle harmonics that conveyed layers of meaning. In the days that followed, humanity teetered on the brink of chaos. Religious leaders proclaimed the end times. Economists watched in horror as markets plummeted. Militaries around the world remained on high alert, fingers hovering nervously over launch buttons. But slowly, cautiously, communication channels opened. The Luminary, it turned out, were researchers. Their massive ships were mobile habitats, housing thousands of scientists and scholars from across the galaxy. Earth, they explained, was a cosmic anomaly. A planet teeming with biodiversity and linguistic variety that defied their models. "Your adaptability fascinates us," the alien spokesperson, who adopted the name Aurora, explained in a historic first televised interview. "Most sentient species we encounter are far more homogeneous." Footage of the Luminary themselves nearly broke the internet. Tall, willowy beings with iridescent skin that seemed to ripple with colors. Their eyes, multifaceted like those of insects, reflected the studio lights in mesmerizing patterns. Dr. Elena Reyes found herself at the forefront of the cultural exchange, part of a hastily assembled team of Earth's brightest minds. Their task, to serve as humanity's ambassadors and to learn as much as possible about our cosmic neighbors. "Tell us," Aurora asked during one of their first meetings, her voice a soothing chime, "how do you maintain cohesion with such diversity? Our simulations suggested a species like yours would tear itself apart." Elena exchanged glances with her colleagues, a Nigerian anthropologist, a Brazilian biologist, a Korean physicist. How to explain the messy, beautiful complexity of human existence? "We argue," Elena said finally, a wry smile on her face. "We fight, we make mistakes. But we also create. We dream." We love. It's not always pretty, but it's who we are. Aurora's skin rippled with colors Elena was learning to recognize as curiosity and confusion. Love, the alien repeated, the words seeming to carry unexpected weight. This concept recurs in your art, your music, yet it seems to defy logical categorization. Can you explain? The human team spent hours trying to convey the nuances of human emotion, the irrationality that often drove innovation. The luminary listened with rapt attention, occasionally emitting harmonics that their translators struggled to interpret. As the days turned to weeks, a routine began to emerge. Luminary scientists, escorted by human security teams, ventured out to study Earth's ecosystems. Human researchers were granted limited access to the alien vessels, marveling at technology that seemed to blur the lines between biology and machine. But beneath the excitement of discovery, tensions simmered. Protests erupted in major cities, fear of the unknown clashing with wonder. Fringe groups claimed the aliens were here to steal Earth's resources or conduct sinister experiments. Military leaders from various nations argued over defense protocols, the old rivalries threatening to resurface in the face of a common other. Elena found herself working around the clock, not just to understand the luminary, but to help her fellow humans process this paradigm shift. In quiet moments, she wondered if Earth was ready for this, if she was ready for this. One evening, as she sat in her makeshift office aboard the luminary vessel, poring over data on their faster-than-light propulsion system, Aurora entered. "Your colleagues have retired for the night," the alien observed, her skin shimmering with what Elena had come to recognize as concern. "Yet you remain. Why do you push yourself so?" Elena sighed, running a hand through her unkempt hair. "Because there's so much to learn, so much at stake. I feel like we're on the brink of something incredible, but also terrifying." Aurora's multifaceted eyes seemed to soften. "You fear us." "Not you specifically," Elena said carefully, "but what your presence means, how it will change us, change everything." The alien was quiet for a moment, her skin rippling with deep blues and purples. When she spoke, her voice carried a new harmonic, one Elena's translator couldn't quite pass. "Perhaps," Aurora said, "that is what truly sets your species apart. You fear change, yet you embrace it. You recognize the danger, yet you reach out anyway. It is admirable." Before Elena could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Aurora's skin flashed with patterns Elena had never seen before. "What's happening?" Elena demanded, her heart racing. Aurora's reply sent a chill down her spine. "Something has gone wrong, very wrong." As they raced towards the ship's control center, Elena's mind whirled. Had Earth's governments decided to strike? Had some cosmic threat followed the luminary here? The reality, they would soon discover, was far stranger, and would test the limits of both human ingenuity and alien wisdom. The quantum conundrum. The ship's control center was a hive of frantic activity. Luminary scientists darted between holographic displays, their skin flickering with patterns that Elena's translators struggled to keep up with. Critical instability detected, dimensional flux increasing, timeline corruption imminent. The fragments of alien speech she could understand did nothing to calm her racing heart. Aurora's multifaceted eyes scanned the readouts, her usual serene demeanor replaced by an intensity that made Elena's skin prickle. "It's worse than we feared," the alien announced, her harmonics carrying an undercurrent of dread that needed no translation. "What's happening?" Elena demanded, fighting to keep her voice steady. "Are we under attack?" Aurora's skin rippled with colors Elena had never seen before. Was that fear? "Not an attack," the alien explained. "A consequence. Our presence here, our technology, it's creating a quantum resonance cascade." Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the team's quantum physicist, pushed her way forward. "Quantum resonance? You mean like entanglement?" "Similar, but on a macroscopic scale," Aurora replied. "Our dry systems operate by manipulating subspace. We thought your planet's unique energy field would be inert, but instead, a holographic display sprang to life, showing Earth surrounded by swirling fractal patterns of energy. As Elena watched, the patterns began to twist and distort, tendrils of chaotic light reaching towards major population centers. "The resonance is amplifying," Aurora continued, her voice tight. "If unchecked, it will tear apart the very fabric of your reality." The implications hit Elena like a physical blow. "How long do we have?" "At current rates of expansion, 72 of your hours." The next few hours were a blur of frantic activity. Emergency calls to world leaders, hastily assembled think tanks of Earth's top scientists, all while the Luminari worked tirelessly to contain the growing quantum instability. Elena found herself in the heart of it all, translating complex alien concepts into terms her fellow humans could understand. The fate of the planet now rested on the combined intellect of two vastly different species. "We need to disperse the energy," Dr. Tanaka argued, her holographic avatar gesturing emphatically in the global conference call. "If we can design a network of quantum sinks—" "Impossible with your current technology," a luminary scientist, who had taken the name Orion, countered. "The energy density is too high. We need to find a way to redirect it, channel it safely out of your solar system." Arguments flew back and forth, theories proposed and discarded in rapid succession. As the hours ticked by, Elena felt a growing sense of desperation. They were missing something, some vital piece of the puzzle. It was during a rare moment of quiet, as Elena stayed out of viewport at the swirling quantum distortions now visible in Earth's upper atmosphere, that inspiration struck. "Aurora," she called out, her voice trembling with excitement and fear. "You said our planet has a unique energy field, right? Something your senses couldn't quite categorize." The alien's skin shimmered with curiosity. "Correct. It's unlike anything we've encountered." "What if?" Elena paused, the audacity of her idea nearly choking her. "What if that's not the coincidence? What if our planet evolved that field as a defense mechanism against exactly this kind of quantum instability?" The control room fell silent, all eyes, human and alien, turning to Elena. "Think about it," she continued, her words tumbling out faster now. "Earth sits in a potentially dangerous part of the galaxy. Solar flares, cosmic rays, who knows what else. What if, over billions of years, our planet developed a way to stabilize quantum fluctuations?" Dr. Tanaka's eyes widened. "The Schumann resonances," she breathed. "We've never fully understood their purpose. Elena, you might be onto something." The next 48 hours were a whirlwind of activity. Human geologists and meteorologists worked alongside luminary quantum specialists, probing the mysteries of Earth's electromagnetic field. They discovered layers of complexity that had eluded both species individually. Elena barely slept, running on adrenaline and the biggest stakes imaginable. She found an unexpected ally in Aurora, the alien's calm presence an anchor in the storm of scientific debate and mounting pressure. As the deadline loomed, a plan began to take shape. Using a combination of luminary technology and a global network of human-built electromagnetic pulse generators, they would attempt to amplify Earth's natural quantum stabilizing field. "It's risky," Aurora warned, her skin pulsing with concern. "If we miscalculate, we could accelerate the very process we're trying to stop." Elena met the alien's gaze, feeling the weight of billions of lives on her shoulders. "We don't have a choice. It's this, or watch our world tear itself apart." The final hours were a blur of last-minute preparations. Military satellites were repurposed into a makeshift control network. Power grids around the world were rerouted to fuel the massive electromagnetic pulses needed. As the countdown reached its final minutes, Elena found herself back in the luminary ship's control center. Holographic displays showed the swirling quantum distortions reaching a critical point. Energy buildup at 97% of theoretical maximum, Orion announced, his skin flashing warning colors. 98%, 99%, now. Aurora's voice rang out. Elena felt it before she saw it. A deep, bone-rattling hum that seemed to come from the Earth itself. The ship's viewports blazed with light as electromagnetic pulses fired from every corner of the globe. For one heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, beautifully, the chaotic swirls of quantum energy began to smooth out. Like oil on water, Earth's amplified fields spread across the distortions, calming them, reabsorbing them. A cheer went up from the human scientists. Elena felt tears streaming down her face as she watched the holographic displays return to normal. "It's working," she breathed. "We did it." Aurora's skin rippled with colors Elena had never seen before: joy, relief, something deeper. "No," the alien said softly. "You did it. Your planet, your insight. We merely assisted." As the celebrations died down and the enormity of what they'd accomplished sank in, Elena realized this was only the beginning. Humanity had not only saved itself, but had discovered a fundamental secret about its own world. The Luminari, for all their advanced technology, had been humbled by the ingenuity of a younger species. "What happens now?" Elena asked Aurora as they watched the sun rise over an Earth forever changed. The alien's reply carried harmonics of wonder and excitement. "Now, Dr. Reyes, we learn from each other, truly as equals." As news of the averted catastrophe spread across the globe, a new era dawned. One of unprecedented cooperation, not just between nations, but between worlds. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger, wiser, and with an expanded view of its place in the cosmos. But even as the celebrations began, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the first of many trials to come. The universe, they were learning, was far stranger and more wondrous than anyone had imagined, and humanity's journey to understand it was only just beginning. The cosmic crucible. The weeks following Earth's brush with quantum annihilation were a whirlwind of scientific breakthroughs and cultural upheaval. Humanity, having glimpsed the true scope of cosmic dangers, found itself changing rapidly. Old rivalries faded as nations pooled resources, desperate to understand and harness the planet's newfound quantum-stabilizing abilities. Dr. Elena Reyes, now a household name and reluctant global icon, barely had time to catch her breath. Between advising world leaders and coordinating with luminary scientists, she felt the weight of humanity's future pressing down on her. It was during a rare moment of solitude in her makeshift office at the United Nations that Aurora found her, the alien's skin shimmering with concern. "You push yourself too hard," Aurora chimed, her harmonics carrying notes of worry. Elena sighed, rubbing her temples. "We don't have a choice. There's so much to learn, so much at stake." Before Aurora could respond, an alarm blared. Elena's comm device lit up with urgent messages from every major space agency on Earth. "What now?" Elena groaned, but her blood ran cold as she read the incoming data. Within the hour, an emergency session of the UN Security Council convened. Military leaders, scientists, and alien representatives crowded the chamber, all eyes on the central holographic display. Admiral Zeo of the Pan-Asian Space Force took the floor, her face grim. "Approximately 3 hours ago, our deep space monitoring network detected a massive object entering the solar system." The hologram zoomed in, revealing a structure that defied comprehension. Not a ship or a planet, but a writhing mass of dark energy, tendrils reaching out hungrily as it moved. "It's consuming everything in its path," Zeo continued. "Asteroids, comets, even light itself seems to be drawn in." Elena felt Aurora tense beside her, the alien's skin pulsing with colors she'd never seen before. "Impossible," Aurora whispered, harmonics trembling. They were supposed to be a myth. All eyes turned to the Luminari representative. "You know what this is?" Elena asked, dreading the answer. Aurora's multifaceted eyes seemed to dim. "We called them the Void Weavers. Ancient beings of pure energy, said to roam the cosmos consuming all in their path. But they were legends, cautionary tales told to young ones." Well, this legend is very real, Admiral Zeo snapped. And at its current velocity, it will reach Earth in less than a week. The room erupted in panicked discussion. Ideas were proposed and dismissed rapid fire. Could they use nuclear weapons? Evacuate the planet? Use the luminaries faster-than-light drives to move Earth itself? Elena's mind raced. There had to be a solution, something they were overlooking. Wait, she called out, silencing the room. Aurora, you said these void weavers consume energy, right? All types of energy. The alien's skin rippled with affirmation. According to the legends, yes. They feed on the fundamental forces of the universe itself. A plan, wild and desperate, began to form in Elena's mind. What if we could give it indigestion? For the next 72 hours, Elena barely slept. She coordinated a global effort unlike anything in human history. Luminary scientists worked alongside Earth's brightest minds, repurposing the planet's quantum stabilization field into a weapon. The plan was audacious. They would use Earth itself as bait, amplifying its energy signature to draw the Void Weaver in. Then, at the last possible moment, they would unleash a concentrated burst of quantum energy, the same chaotic force they had so recently learned to control. It's like fighting fire with fire, Elena explained to a skeptical UN panel. We'll overload its ability to absorb energy, hopefully disrupting its fundamental structure. As the Void Weaver drew nearer, its effects became visible to the naked eye. Nighttime skies warped and twisted, stars blinking out one by one. Mass panic gripped the globe, held in check only by the hope offered by Elena's plan. The day of reckoning arrived. Elena stood in a fortified bunker beneath the Himalayas, surrounded by banks of advanced computers, a hybrid of human and luminary technology. Aurora stood by her side, both of them watching the main view screen with bated breath. Void Weaver entering optimal range, a technician called out. Energy signature at maximum. Elena took a deep breath. This was it. Everything they'd learned, every breakthrough and sacrifice, had led to this moment. Initiate quantum pulse, she commanded, her voice steady despite the fear churning in her gut. The bunker hummed with power. Outside, the sky itself seemed to ripple as Earth unleashed its secret weapon. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. The Void Weaver continued its inexorable approach, tendrils of dark energy reaching hungrily for the planet. Then suddenly, beautifully, it began to change. The writhing mass of energy stuttered, pulsed, and began to twist in on itself. Arcs of quantum lightning danced across its surface as it struggled to contain the overload of energy. It's working, someone shouted, but Elena hardly heard. Her eyes were fixed on the screen, watching as the once unstoppable cosmic horror began to unravel. With a final, silent flash that lit up the solar system, the Void Weaver collapsed in on itself. Where once there had been a planet-sized threat, now there was nothing but a shower of harmless particles. The bunker erupted in cheers. Elena felt herself being hugged, patted on the back, but it all seemed distant. She turned to Aurora, seeing her own mix of relief and disbelief mirrored in the alien's multifaceted eyes. We did it, Elena breathed. We actually did it. Aurora's skin shimmered with colors Elena now recognized as awe and respect. You did it, the alien corrected gently. Once again, humanity has surpassed our wildest expectations. As news of their victory spread across the globe, Elena realized that everything had changed. Humanity had not only saved itself, but had proven itself a force to be reckoned with on a cosmic scale. In the days that followed, as cleanup efforts began and the world tried to process what had happened, Elena found herself thinking about the future. Humanity had faced trial by fire, or rather by void, and emerged stronger. But what other wonders and horrors awaited them among the stars? One thing was certain, Earth would never be the same. As Elena watched the sunrise from the steps of the UN building, Aurora by her side, she knew that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. The Nexus Protocol. 6 months after Earth's triumph over the Void Weaver, humanity found itself at the crossroads of a cosmic revolution. The planet buzzed with an energy that transcended the merely physical, a collective awakening to the vast potential and peril that lay beyond the stars. Dr. Elena Reyes, now heading the newly formed Global Astro-Temporal Research Initiative, GATRI, stood before a holographic representation of the Milky Way. Countless pinpricks of light swirled around her, each representing a potential alien civilization or cosmic anomaly. The luminary star charts have opened up a whole new universe to us, she mused, her voice carrying a mix of excitement and trepidation. Aurora, her alien counterpart and now close friend, rippled with agreement. And yet, we've barely scratched the surface. The cosmos holds secrets that even my people, with all our advanced technology, have yet to unravel. Their contemplation was interrupted by a priority alert. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's face materialized in the air, her expression a mixture of awe and concern. Elena, Aurora, you need to see this. Now. Minutes later, they stood in GATRI's quantum computation lab, staring at a stream of data that defied conventional physics. We were running simulations on the residual energy from the Void Weaver incident, Yuki explained, her fingers dancing over holographic controls. And we found this. The main screen lit up with a visualization that made Elena's head spin. It looked like a cross between a fractal pattern and a neural network, pulsing with energy that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. What are we looking at? Elena asked, her scientific curiosity overriding her confusion. Aurora's skin flashed with colors Elena had never seen before. Was that reverence? It's a nexus, the alien breathed. A junction point in the very fabric of reality. Yuki nodded excitedly. That's what we think too. It's like a cosmic switchboard, a place where multiple dimensions, maybe even multiple timelines, converge. Elena's mind reeled at the implications, and it's here, near Earth. Not just near, Yuki said, zooming out the display. It's centered on Earth. Our planet, it seems, is a cosmic crossroads. The revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community and beyond. Earth, once thought to be an unremarkable planet in a backwater part of the galaxy, was suddenly the most important real estate in the known universe. Governments clamored for control. Religious leaders proclaimed divine providence. And in shadowy corners of the internet, conspiracy theories about ancient aliens and hidden technologies ran wild. But for Elena and her team, the discovery of the Nexus posed an even greater challenge: how to study it, how to protect it, and most importantly, how to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. The power contained within the Nexus is beyond anything we've encountered, Aurora explained during an emergency session of the UN Security Council. In the wrong hands, it could reshape reality itself. The debate raged for days. Some argued for weaponizing the Nexus, seeing it as the ultimate defense against cosmic threats. Others pushed for strict isolation, fearing that any tampering could lead to catastrophe. In the end, it was Elena who proposed a radical solution: the Nexus Protocol. We don't fully understand the Nexus, she argued, addressing leaders from around the world. But we know it's tied to Earth in a fundamental way. I propose we create a joint human luminary task force, not to control the Nexus, but to learn from it, to become its guardians. The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. A secret facility was constructed deep beneath the Antarctic ice, combining the most advanced human and luminary technologies. Elena found herself at the helm of the most important scientific endeavor in human history. But as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the Nexus, strange things began to happen. Research assistants reported vivid, shared dreams of alien worlds. Quantum fluctuations caused localized time distortions. And most alarmingly, there were whispers of shadowy figures seen at the edge of perception, humanoid, but unmistakably not human. Time-space membrane integrity destabilizing, a technician called out one day, his voice tight with panic. We're registering multiple dimensional breaches. Elena and Aurora rushed to the main control room, watching in horror as reality itself seemed to fracture around them. Through crackling portals, they caught glimpses of other Earths, some thriving utopias, others post-apocalyptic wastelands. The Nexus is overloading. Aurora's harmonics rang with urgency. If we don't stabilize it, it could tear apart the entire solar system. Elena's mind raced. Everything they'd learned about quantum fields, about Earth's unique energy signature, it all led to this moment. We need to synchronize the dimensional frequencies, she shouted over the growing chaos. Use the quantum stabilizers to create a harmonic resonance. What followed was a desperate race against time. Elena, Aurora, and their team worked feverishly, using a combination of luminary tech and Earth's innate quantum field to weave a stabilizing network around the fracturing nexus. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, when the very air crackled with transdimensional energy, everything stopped. The portals snapped shut. The quantum readings stabilized. An eerie calm descended over the facility. Did it work? Elena asked, hardly daring to breathe. Aurora's skin rippled with cautious relief. I believe so. We've contained the nexus, for now. As the team began to assess the damage and analyze the vast amounts of data collected during the incident, Elena couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. They had touched something profound, something that challenged their very understanding of reality. What do we do now? She asked Aurora, as they stood watching the Antarctic sunset through a reinforced window. The alien's multifaceted eyes seemed to glimmer with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Now, my friend, we prepare. The discovery of the Nexus has put Earth at the center of something far greater than we imagined. We must be ready. Elena nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, one filled with wonders and terrors beyond imagination. The Nexus was both a gift and a burden, a cosmic trust placed in the hands of a young species. As she looked out at the icy landscape, Elena knew that the greatest adventures and the greatest challenges still lay ahead. Earth was no longer just a pale blue dot in the cosmic ocean. It was a linchpin of reality itself. And they would need all their ingenuity, all their courage, and all their humanity to face what came next. The cosmic confluence. The Antarctic Research Facility, once a hub of frenzied activity, now hummed with an eerie calm. Dr. Elena Reyes stood before the Nexus containment chamber, its swirling energies casting prismatic light across her face. A year had passed since they'd narrowly averted dimensional catastrophe, yet the weight of responsibility still pressed heavily upon her shoulders. Penny for your thoughts, Doc. The voice belonged to Captain Zara Chen, leader of Earth's newly formed Nexus Defense Force. The soldier's cybernetic enhancements glinted in the ethereal light. Elena sighed, running a hand through her graying hair. Just wondering if we're really ready for what's coming, Zara. Before the captain could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red warning lights bathed the corridors as personnel rushed to battle stations. Multiple interdimensional rifts detected. A technician's panicked voice crackled over the comms. Unknown entities emerging. Elena and Zara sprinted to the control room, arriving just as Aurora materialized via hologram, the alien's skin flickering with urgent patterns. It's happening. Aurora's harmonics thrummed with dread. The cosmic confluence. We thought we had more time. On the main view screen, chaos unfolded. Portals ripped open across Earth's surface, disgorging bizarre creatures and impossible machines. In New York, tentacled monstrosities wrestled with skyscrapers. Over Tokyo, fleets of crystalline ships engaged in dogfights with hastily scrambled fighter jets. My God, Elena breathed. It's not just one invasion, it's everything. Aurora's hologram nodded grimly. The Nexus is a multiversal crossroads. We've inadvertently made Earth a beacon for every reality touching this dimensional junction. Captain Chen's cybernetic eye whirred as she assessed tactical data. Our conventional forces are overwhelmed. We need a game changer, and fast. Elena's mind raced, piecing together everything they'd learned about the Nexus. A wild, desperate plan began to form. What if? What if we could use the Nexus itself as a weapon? Aurora's skin rippled with shock. The energy required would be astronomical. It could tear reality apart. We don't have a choice, Elena argued. If we don't act, Earth will fall. All Earths will fall. What followed was a frenzy of activity that would be remembered in legend for generations to come. As battles raged across the globe, Elena and her team worked to reconfigure the Nexus containment protocols. They weren't just trying to hold back its power anymore, they were going to channel it. Captain Chen coordinated a last-ditch defensive effort, buying them precious time. Luminary ships joined Earth's military in holding back the tide of interdimensional invaders. In a makeshift lab, Dr. Yuki Tanaka put the finishing touches on a device that defied conventional physics. "It's done," she announced, holding up what looked like a crystalline gauntlet. "The Nexus resonator. But Elena, using this could kill you." Elena met her friend's gaze with steely determination. If it saves Earth, it's worth the risk. As she donned the experimental device, alerts flooded in from around the world. The dimensional invaders were pushing humanity to the brink. It was now or never. Elena stepped into the Nexus chamber, feeling reality itself bend around her. The resonator hummed to life, tapping into energies that no human was meant to wield. Initiating Nexus pulse in 3, 2, 1. The world exploded into light and impossible geometries. Elena felt herself stretched across realities. Her consciousness expanded to encompass the multiverse itself. She saw countless Earths, countless versions of herself, all connected by gossamer threads of quantum probability. With a thought that transcended language, Elena reached out. She touched the very fabric of reality and pulled. Across the globe, invading forces suddenly found themselves yanked back through their portals. Rifts snapped shut, sealing off alternate realities. The skies cleared as alien ships vanished mid-flight. In the Nexus chamber, Elena collapsed to her knees, blood trickling from her nose. The resonator crackled and shattered, its work done. As the dust settled and humanity emerged from shelters to survey the damage, a stunned silence fell over the world. They had been pushed to the very edge of annihilation, and somehow they had survived. Days later, as cleanup efforts began in earnest, Elena stood before a hastily convened UN assembly. Her body was weak, still recovering from the ordeal, but her eyes burned with newfound purpose. "We've been given a second chance," she addressed the leaders of the world. "The cosmic confluence showed us that we are not alone in the multiverse, but it also proved that humanity, when united, can face any challenge." She outlined a bold vision, a new era of cooperation, not just between nations, but between realities. Earth would become a beacon of hope and knowledge, a multiversal hub dedicated to exploration and understanding. "We've touched the impossible," Elena concluded. "Now it's time to embrace it." As she stepped down from the podium to thunderous applause, Elena felt a familiar presence. Aurora stood nearby, the alien's skin shimmering with pride and something else. "Hope. You continue to amaze us." Aurora's harmonics sang. "Your species has faced trial after trial, and each time you emerge stronger, more unified." Elena smiled, feeling the weight of the future, of all possible futures, on her shoulders. "We're just getting started," she said. "The real adventure begins now." As they looked out over the assembly, human and alien side by side, the air seemed to hum with possibility. Earth had found its place in the cosmic tapestry, not as a footnote, but as a linchpin of reality itself. The Nexus pulsed deep beneath the Antarctic ice, a reminder of the wonders and dangers that awaited. But humanity stood ready, eyes turned to the stars and beyond, prepared to write the next chapter in their incredible cosmic journey. The end, or perhaps just the beginning.